Welcome to the Tomorrow Money Show, the podcast where we challenge the financial stories we have been told, examine the systems we rely on, and explore the technologies that may redefine the future of money. I'm your host, and I'm excited, genuinely excited to finally launch this project. I have always wanted to start a show of my own to share my ideas and views of the world, and I've done just that with this show. My name is Nyaraz Togarepi. Again, welcome to this show. And today's episode is a little different from what you hear going forward. This is in the news update, a deep dive, or a debate. This is the origin story, why this show exists, what it stands for, and where we are heading together. So grab a coffee, sit back, or if you are committing, just settle in. This is the beginning of something important, something bigger than me, and probably you too. Something interesting. Let's start with a simple question. Why talk about money at all? Well, because money, believe it or not, is the operating system of society. Every decision we make, from where we live to how we spend our time to what we dream about doing, is connected to money. It shapes incentives, structures power, and influences opportunity. And yet, the vast majority of us never learned how the system works. Of course, we know how to spend money, and some of us, not everyone, know how to earn it. But what is money? Where does it come from? What gives it value? Why does everything, from food to housing, cost more every year? These are questions most people never ask. Or if they do, the answers they get are half truths, oversimplifications, or in many cases, completely wrong. And here's the radical idea behind this show: the financial system you grew up in is not the only option. It's not even the best one. And it's certainly not the one that will be here forever. We are living at the edge of a technological shift that challenges centuries of assumptions about money, ownership, trust, and value transfer. Blockchain technology and digital assets, yes, including Bitcoin, aren't just speculative toys or weird internet experiments. They represent a genuine attempt to fix the deep structural problems in our financial world. And this show exists because we need a space to unpack that, a space to talk openly, clearly, and honestly about how money works, what's broken, and what could come next. A space where we can step outside the noise of hype circles, influencers, government talking points, and some industry jargon, and instead look at the bigger picture. Because the story of the future of money is much bigger than the price of Bitcoin. It's about sovereignty. It's also about trust. It's about freedom, and it's about responsibility. So you might be wondering, so Munyaradzi, why start this show now? Why is this moment so important, Munyaradzi? The simple answer is to those questions is because the cracks in the traditional financial system are no longer small. They are widening and they are becoming impossible to ignore. Let's walk through just a few of the pressures we are facing today. Number one, inflation. As you know, for decades, government have told us that inflation is normal, but the lived experience tells a different story. As a Zimbabwean myself, I have had a very terrible experience with inflation for a long time now, probably since birth. Homes are becoming unaffordable every day. Education cost keeps going higher and higher every year. Healthcare is becoming a luxury. And our salaries, well, they are running a marathon while prices are driving a freaking Ferrari. This isn't existential. It's the natural result of a system where money is created out of thin air, endlessly, without limit, and without meaningful accountability. I can talk about this all day, but if you are from Zimbabwe, you know what I mean. And if you think inflation is just a matter of numbers on a chart, consider this. Inflation is a slow motion transfer of wealth from people who earn money to the people who create it. This is not a conspiracy. This is basic mathematics. And number two, the reason of the creation of this show, failure of banks. We are told banks are safe. We are told they are regulated. We are told our deposits are secure. And then in the span of a single weekend, bank collapse and everyone's money just disappears into thin air. And the public is reminded once again that the stability of the banking system is an illusion built on confidence and confidence alone. You don't have to dig far into history to see this. 2002, 2008, 2019, 2020, and so on. All these crises are becoming more frequent and not less. Number three, regulatory failures. Regulators, for all their mandates and power, often fail to protect the public. They miss red flags, they respond too late, and sometimes they protect the system more than the people. We have seen it with banks, we have seen it with investment firms, we have seen it with crypto, where inconsistent regulation has caused confusion, stifled innovation, and driven talent and companies overseas. Number four, for the reason why we're starting this show, technological momentum. For the first time in history, humanity has created a system of money that is borderless, trustless, permissionless, transparent, resistant to censorship, resistant to inflation by design. That system is Bitcoin. And around it is grown an entire ecosystem of digital assets, other blockchains, protocols, and applications experimenting with new financial models. This is not a niche hobby. This is a generational shift. And like the internet in the early 90s, we are still in the dial-up phase, but the trajectory is clear. The Tomorrow Money Show isn't here to preach. It's not here to tell you to buy anything, and it's not here to push a narrative. This show is three core missions. Number one, to educate. We will break down complex concepts in a way that makes them accessible and relevant. Expect episodes on what money actually is, how inflation works, why banks fail, what central banks do, how Bitcoin solves specific problem, what blockchain technology enables, why digital assets matter, and so on and so on. As you know, education is empowerment, and financial literacy is more essential now more than ever. And number two, to question. I'm not here to defend everything crypto does. There is hype, scams, failures, and a lot of misguided projects. But there is also brilliance, innovation, genuine progress, and the goal is to question everything honestly, whether it's traditional finance or it's digital assets. We will ask, what is systematically broken? What experiments are actually promising? What deserves skepticism? What deserves our attention? And number three, to imagine a better future beyond the headlines. The real story is this: blockchain technology gives us a chance, maybe our first real chance, to redesign the financial system from the ground up, not to destroy the old system, but to evolve it, to build alternatives that are more transparent, more fair, and more aligned with individual freedom. This is here to explore what that future looks like. Now, you might be wondering, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, Mnyaraz? Why start a podcast? Why step into this conversation? And the short answer is because I believe this matters. Because I've spent years and years watching people struggle financially, confused and frustrated, believing their situation was on their personal failures, when in reality the system is rigged against them. I've I've watched smart, hardworking people lose savings because of inflation or poor banking decisions, market manipulations, or predatory financial products. I've also watched people discover Bitcoin, digital assets, and decentralized system, only for them to realize that there is a bigger world out there no one ever told them about. A world that can empower them, a world that can liberate them, a world that can inspire them, and so on. this podcast is my contribution to that awakening. Once you learn how money works, you will never see the world the same way again. And here's what's going to be coming in the next few episodes. We're going to have an episode on a breakdown of why fiat currencies lose value, how central banks like the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe actually operate, and why it matters. Why is banking failing? What does Bitcoin solve, and what it doesn't solve, and so on. Every episode will run for 20 to 45 minutes, sometimes longer if the topic demands it. My promise is this: no clickbait, no shallow hot takes, no sensational pumping or fear mongering, just honest explanations. As we wrap up this introductory episode, I want to leave you with this. Human history is filled with moments where new technologies force us to rethink old systems. Electricity, cars, the internet, each one started as a curiosity, misunderstood, underestimated. Each one was resisted by the existing system. Each one rewrote the rules and went on to change the world. Blockchain and digital assets are following the same pattern. And whether you love them or you hate them or you are still confused by them, the change is already underway. It's already happening. You can ignore it, you can resist it, or you can understand it. This show is for people who choose to understand. Again, thank you for being here at the beginning. Thank you for giving your time, your attention, your curiosity. If this resonates with you, stick around. Together, we are going to explore the future of money, and the future is closer than you think. This is the Tomorrow Money Show, and we're just getting started.